Alright, so picking up on what type of businesses, or the different types of businesses that exist. We talked about, of course, sole proprietorships, which was the single owner business, of course, which is more common around your small towns, and they're everywhere, big cities and everywhere as well. But you should definitely see in the small towns because most of the time you know the person, of course, that owns them. Your partnerships, we talked about with different types of businesses: doctors, dentists, law firms, accountants, things like that. Big money stuff that goes through. They're common in every city and every state, stuff like that, as all businesses are. But again, you know those people most of the time. You can associate those businesses with those type of people. Corporations, you likely don't know the owner. Who owns it? Well, let me take it back. You likely know the owner, but you don't know you know the owner. What is a corporation, and how can you determine who owns it? If you don't know, what you understand is that the owner of a corporation is not one single person. It is not a group of people that go to work every day at a corporation. Corporation is owned by stockholders, shareholders. Those are the people who actually own the company. We've talked about every single one of these businesses based on who owns the company. One person sole proprietorship, two or more in a partnership, and now a corporation. So how many people own a corporation? It just depends. It could be a few people own stock in a corporation. It could be thousands of people. It could be millions of people. It all depends on how much stock is out there. We're really not going to get into the stock part of things and how that stuff necessarily works. Kind of planned to in class, but I don't think we'll be able to get to that now doing it like this. But we're going to talk about a little bit about stocks. Hopefully you can have some questions, of course, and ask that along the way in some of these discussion boards as we talk about this. That hopefully will add on to the information that not only I give, but the information you're able to learn. So let's talk about corporations and how they work. Corporations, okay. The most complex form of business is corporation. It's a legal entity owned by individual stockholders. Legal entity is a big word or a big phrase that we're going to talk about a little bit and kind of elaborate on. Of course, it says owned by individual stockholders. I own stock in many companies through my IRA through the school, my retirement thing. Your parents probably have stock bought in several companies through their IRAs or their 401ks or whatever. They just like to dabble in stocks and maybe own some stocks through eTrader.com or something. A lot of people own stocks in different things. So I own stock in all these companies. Therefore, I am a part owner of that company. Do I have say in the company's ongoings? Of course I do. I can fly out to California. I can go to those meetings and I can voice my opinion with my measly little 2 or 3 shares that maybe I have in the company. I don't know what it is, but I could do that. It would cost me a lot of money to do that, so I'm probably not going to go. But I get invitations and I get information to all the companies that I have stock in all the time saying, hey, we're going to have our shareholders meeting, here it is, blah, blah, blah. They don't give me a plane ticket, they don't give me money, or they just say, here it is. So again, I'm not going to go out there. Couldn't tell you most of the I couldn't tell you any of the companies right now that I have stock in. It's all through my guy. The guy, everybody got a guy. I got a guy, and he's going to be the one who is investing in that stuff. I'm just trusting him so he gets paid for. So I am a stockholder, so therefore I own portions of many companies. How do you get rich by buying stock? How do you make money buying stock? You get really stinking rich by investing a lot of money in a company that's just starting out, and you're able to then turn around and sell those stocks later for 10, 20, 30 times the amount you paid for them. That's how you get really rich, and that is a very rare thing because most people that invest in those type of businesses are the businesses that fail, so therefore you lose money. How do you make money in the stock market? By investing in stock and letting it get worth more and then selling it for a higher price and having somebody buy it and they want to get higher and higher and higher. And you have a guy that does that, or you do it yourself. But you make money through that. You make money through dividends. We'll talk about that later, where the company actually pays you a small amount of money every year for being part owner. It's a very, very small amount compared to what you invest. And so it's not really worth the big money. If you put $1 million in, you may get $10,000 in dividends back every year, which compared to $1 million, that's like comparing $100 to $1 basically. You're not getting a whole lot back on everything you're doing. So, but you can make money in the stock market in many different ways. Again, we're not going to talk a whole lot about that. But if you have questions about that, if you want to start those questions, please do so because I would love to answer them as best I can. And of course, maybe hopefully we'll start other questions. And I think we should probably try to do that more if you can. If you have questions, don't be scared to start a discussion somewhere or ask me to start a discussion and see if we can't figure some of this stuff out. It'll be a lot of fun. Miss you guys. Stockholders hold stock with certificate of ownership in a corporation. You ever seen this piece of stock? They used to have these really cool, like, it was like a certificate that, like when you get a really nice award, it has the imprinted letters on there and the gold laid in there and stuff. You used to have those really cool stock things. I don't know if they still do it or not because everything's so digital now. But I remember the first time I ever saw a stock when I was real young. It was a really cool looking piece of paper. It probably did not, it was probably not worth as much as the paper was written on, because I think my dad had stock in Newton Academy or something at the time. It was something he had bought as part of tuition or something. So, but it was a cool little stock deal. If you hold stock, you have a certificate in that corporation, a certificate of ownership in that corporation that shows that you are in fact part owner. Again, I don't think they do it anymore. I think it's all digital now. If you don't, I don't have it anyway. If you own stock in a corporation, you are part owner of that corporation. If there are 1,000 shares out there, and I own one of them, I own 1/1000th owner of that company. You can go from there. If there's 100 shares and I own 1 share, I'm 1/100th that owner of that company. So it depends on how many shares are out there. I could be a 1/1000th owner in a company, and all of a sudden they open up more shares, and now I'm a 1/2000th owner of a company, or whatever that would wind up being in a fraction. You guys are smarter than me. And so it all depends on how many shares are out there, is how many owners I could possibly have. Could I own 500 of those shares? Absolutely. If I own 500 of those shares, I own half the shares. If one other person owns 500, then we are both owners. We are equal owners. If I own 500 and somebody else owns 250, another person owns 250, we all three own, but I am the majority shareholder in that, so I have more say than they do. Their 2 votes are equal to my 1 vote, if that makes sense. It used to be a really cool show I used to watch growing up, and then they did a remake back in about 2012 called Dallas. Really, really great show. My grandpa loved it. It was like this primetime soap opera. Oil tycoons and a big business, big family business, and they were always trying to get everybody's stock, and they were trying to get ownership of the business to make the decisions and the oil stuff. It was really, really cool when you get to see how that goes. A lot of movies out there that talk about stuff like that. But the more owners you have, the more you have the chance to kind of team up, I guess, depending on what it is. But as long as somebody has half the shares, that person's going to have half the say. The rest of them all have to be on the same page. And so it just all depends on how many shares are out there, who has them, different stuff like that. I could have 25% and still be the majority shareholder if everybody else had the other 75%. Their votes would all count more than mine as my 25, but I could still be the majority shareholder if nobody else had 25, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Let's see here. Whoa. I hit a button. We're going to stop this video and start the next one.